What is up, guys? This is Freddy from GameHut, and today we are back with another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. And we're talking about a subject that's been covered fairly well by other people, but I want to give my opinions, my thoughts on the subject, and that's what champions should I use in Alliance War Defensive? I don't have many awakened champions, and thankfully there's a lot of great champions that do not need to be awakened to be excellent defenders. And today I'm going to cover my top 5 picks on what champions are great for Alliance War Defense. I will add a few other champions that in my opinion deserve to be highlighted, but I'm not going to talk about them that much because I don't want this video to drag on that much. But to start off right away, I want to talk about, in my opinion, the best unduped Alliance War Defense. And obviously people are gonna disagree, but for me personally, I think that this guy right here, Black Panther Civil War, is arguably one of the best Alliance War defense for unduped champion. Very tricky to fight. He's got reflective armor. He's got that ability to reflect stun on the opponent, and it makes him super dangerous on top of having a great bleed. One mistake in fighting him and it's game over for you. You parry him while he has an armor up and you're done. But there are a few things that make him less special, a little bit not that great, but there's not many. So, one of those things are that if you're used to fighting stun immune nodes, or if you know how to fight a Civil War Black Panther very well, you will not have a problem with him at all. He's fairly easy to play around, but at the same time, we are all humans, and we make mistakes. Sometimes you'll accidentally parry, or something will happen where you get hit while he's got that reflective armor buff on, and all that damage that you dealt to him will go onto you, and it's very dangerous. Obviously, we have Voodoo, which is, being everyone. There's so much love for Voodoo right now, and if you use a Voodoo, all those armor ups on Civil War Black Panther can turn right around and knock him out just like that. Next up, I want to talk about a character that gets a lot of love in the Marvel Contest of Champions community right now as a defender, and that's Nightcrawler. Now, you're going to see this guy everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and for good reason. Basically, if you pull a Nightcrawler unduped, he is basically a duped Spider-Man. Right off the bat, you do not need to awaken this guy to make him evade like crazy, make him super annoying, super annoying to fight. He's a very good champion defensive wise. Another thing that makes him so great is that he can rack up those furies so fast, and make him even more dangerous if he evades back and hits you just once. That's gonna be a huge chunk of your health taken right there. Now, there are a few things that make him not as good, obviously. He is significantly easier to fight at than Spider-Man. He's got a swashbuckling mode, which if you get him to that mode, it's an easy fight. He does not evade at all. Very easy to champion a fight once he is in that swashbuckling phase. So there's no need to worry about him evading. Specials, super easy to fight. Just don't let him get to his special 3. For the most part, at this point, most people can fight a Nightcrawler, no problem. But he is a great defender. Obviously, do not awaken him. He is actually way better, in my opinion, unduped. So the next one, we are talking about a champion that, in my opinion, is not as great as he used to be, simply because he is now available in the 4-star crystals and the premium hero crystals. And that is Mordo. Mordo is one of those champions that was so difficult to play when he entered the Contest of Champions world. I remember this guy whenever he was in the featured story event. So many people had problems with him. Everyone was saying, "Oh, this is so hard, and now he's pretty easy." Now that he's popping up more and more in Alliance War Defense, he's pretty easy to fight. Obviously the thing that makes him great, 2 words: Astro Evade. Super tricky if you're in the mindset of parrying 5-hit combo, You can't do that with Mordo. He is very tricky if you forget that he has that Astro Evade, which sounds silly, but it happens. Also, he can build up that fury very fast, up to 10 furies, which makes him even more dangerous if you slip up and you let him hit you. Obviously, that power gain, he is very defensive when he's on that power gain buff. Does not let you hit him. and he's got a pretty difficult fighting style if you're not used to it. And then there are some cons to him. After fighting him, like I said, he's very, very common nowadays. He's not a difficult champion to fight anymore. He is very, very easy to fight now that he is very common. Another thing is that, you know, his specials are not hard to evade at all. Very, very simple specials. Even if you get him to his special 3, do not worry about it. The fourth champion that I want to highlight today is a champion that we covered in my last video again, is Agent Venom. Now, Agent Venom, the thing that makes him great is his ability to shrug off debuffs. You stun him, you bleed him. Champions like Thor that require a debuff, like an armor break stun, are going to have a hard time whenever he keeps on activating that tenacity, and just going to give you a hard time because you can't keep it on him for that long. Obviously, the con for using an Agent Venom is that sometimes the tenacity doesn't kick in. I've had times when I've fought Agent Venom and tenacity never kicks in. It doesn't show up at all in the fight. That's the thing with Agent Venom. Tenacity isn't as reliable as, one would hope it to be, but whenever it does kick in, sometimes it's just out of the blue and unexpected, and it catches you off guard. So that's what makes him very good for Alliance War defense, in my opinion. And the last champion I want to talk about today is a champion that I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna disagree with me, but hear me out, guys. Hear me out. It is Groot. Now, here's the thing with Groot. He's a pretty good defender. But the thing that made him so easy to fight is the fact that he was a mini boss in the last AQ season. Now that he isn't a boss, a lot of people don't expect to see Groot. Especially in the higher Alliance War tiers, you don't see that many Groots. But whenever there is a Groot, it catches you off guard, and you might not be prepared for him because you're not expecting that defender there. So you don't bring champions to counter Groot. Now, there are a lot of champions that don't have a problem with Groot, but he's very tricky if you're not ready for him. It's curveball for sure. He's basically stun immune. He's got a debuff reduction ability. You put a debuff on him, and just as fast as it activated, it ends. Another thing is that sometimes the AI will be super tricky. If you cannot bait that L1, that L2 is going to give you a lot of problems. That regen, it can be evaded, but it is tricky to evade. And obviously, special 3 is destructive. You will bleed if you don't die right away. But there are obviously some cons to this champion. One being most Mystic champs have a fairly easy time fighting him. Voodoo, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Strange, Magic. But again, pretty good defender in my opinion. Now, the next champions that I'm going to highlight, I'm just going to put their pros and their cons on the screen with a little bit of gameplay next to them, but I don't want to talk about them too much because they've kind of gone past their prime. A lot of people know how to fight them, know how to counter them, know how to play around their certain fighting style, their abilities. So I'm not going to get too much in depth, but I do want to highlight them just real fast. So here they go.
Close your eyes and just stay tight. We have to go. Stay with me while we leave. Don't worry, just believe me. This journey will relieve us. Stay with me while we leave. Stay with me.
So that is it, guys. Those are my top 5 picks, plus a little bit more, on the champions that are best for Alliance War when they are unduped. Now, I'd love to hear what you guys think. Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Do you guys think that somebody got put in the list that shouldn't have been on the list. You guys think that I missed somebody, which I'm fairly sure I did. Please, please, please do comment below. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. Also, please hit that subscribe button. It would be such a help. I am I will try to keep on putting quality content out. Please, again, comment below, like the video. Thank you for clicking on the video. Much love to you guys. And I will catch you guys on the next one.